What's happening, boys? We all good?
Hello.
Aye, all good, buddy.
All good, all good. Back for another glorious review of another 3 points for the JTs as we storm the league. Champions of October again.
It's not bad. What's that? Champions of August, September and October?
Easily.
And what if we win next week? I think we could still potentially be champions in November, given that there's a 2-week international break as well. So
it's in the bag, mate.
And we get the ribbons out, mate. Get the maroon and white ribbons out. What's been happening, boys? Was all good? Andrew, what's been going on?
Nothing much, man. I'm by myself for the next 2 weeks. The good lady has left me. Not in a bad sense. She's away with work for the next fortnight, so it's nothing but any sport I want to watch and take away every night. So I'm love it.
Nice. Where's your way?
I can't tell you the first place because it's subject to an NDA at work. But she's going from location X to India, and then back home. So
decent. A continental podcast. I'm
well,
live in Orlando currently. Kev's in a sauna in Sweden, and your other half's somewhere that cannot be discussed. So
more or less,
that's what happens when the Gorgie take over.
In the astute observers will have noticed that Tam Husney made it. He's in Scotland. Husney went probably beyond the length of his couch, but still can he make it? Yet Corbett's 5,000 miles away, if that, or about that, and has made the effort.
Still, he's pursuing his teenage dream of thinking that his band's going to get signed. It's getting depressing, isn't it?
Here's a wee bit. I messaged him that, and he's not responded. Is that, mate? Do you make any money out of the band? Probably no. What are you doing?
Well, I've told him that he's got the mistake he's making is it's filled with Hibs cunts, his band. Get rid of them, and people will start listening. It's pretty simple mathematics, mate. There's 5 in the band and 3 of them support Hibs. Take 3 of them out and get 3 proper guys in, and you'll be sound. So,
I didn't know that.
Kev, what's been happening?
Nah, not a lot, mate. I've been on call this weekend, so unfortunately I had to go to the game without a beer in me, which was unusual for the guys round about me. So I was fairly sober, Andrew, which I know you perfectly well. No doubt I'm going to make some sort of laugh and joke about it, but it was a different experience for me on Saturday.
Oh, I don't know.
Enjoyed it.
Well, I don't know if we can talk about this. As anybody that's in the WhatsApp community chat will know, I couldn't make it on Saturday, so I didn't have any takers for it because whatever. And I put it on Ticket Exchange, and somebody bought it. So, Kev, how was that experience? Sat next to a complete stranger.
Interesting. Let's just leave it at that.
Okay, interesting for him or for you, or
for
both?
Both of us, mate. For both of us, yes. Yeah.
A sober Kev and a random.
Yes, very much so. Very much so.
Right. Obviously, we're live on YouTube, so any questions, any thoughts in the game from Saturday, we can discuss a bit of the St Mirren game as well if we want to, and then we will preview the final game in this wee run before the international break. So anything, just get in contact, let us know. We'll fire your questions or comments up on the screen, and we'll just get cracking. Sound good, boys?
Sure does.
Perfect.
Kev, what's been happening news-wise? What have we got?
Aye, quite a bit of news since we last podded last Tuesday night. Firstly is the 6 new candidates for roles at the Foundation of Hearts. Must admit, I don't know any of them. I've never known any of them, to be truthfully honest with you, as such. But Daniel Brunton, Diane Scogall, Dougie Sherlock, Ewan Tripp, Graham Robertson, and Raymond Wales are up for various roles within the foundation itself. The other real big news in the last week is the new chairman being announced, Callum Patterson. When I read the headlines, it's a bit strange. I know fans have wanted him back every single transfer window. His name is always appearing, but this time he's actually coming back as the new chairman. He'll take up his position in December after the AGM, in which, of course, Anne Budge, who I'm not sure she created a new role for herself as honorary president. She'll take up that role after relinquishing her, firstly, our title of chairwoman, but also I believe that she's also relinquishing her place on the board, and she's not even putting forward a nominee, which is interesting. A guy called Kevin Windrum, non-executive director, also will step down, with Ralph Finlay OBE filling his shoes on the board. So from the boardroom to the pitch, which is where we really want to see and want more news. Shanks and Gordon have been called up by Scotland, but who cares? They've approached us for an emergency loan of a keeper. I'm wondering, is Paul Gallagher still registered? Because you can have him if you want him. I'm just thinking that might be an option. And an interesting one that I didn't see, but I noticed the news headlines, was that Watford are interested in Halkett. Why the hell would you want to drop to that particular level? I mean,
well, Champions League and Club World Championships, Club World Cup and that coming up. I can't see that as a non-mover. To be fair,
I would think so. I would think so. He scores 3 goals in 3 games, and all of a sudden he's a wanted man.
We touch on the boardroom changes. Does anybody get any feelings on it, opinions on it?
Not strong as such. Again, people that I don't know, like we normally go through some sort of, or in fact, it was the Foundation of Hearts people that we interviewed rather than actual board changes before, wasn't it? But I don't know. It just feels. This is a horrible thing to say because I don't know them and I don't know the history. But out with the old, in with the new sort of thing. It's like you've got Budge leaving, a few other people leaving. I don't see it as a bad thing. If I'm honest, I'm kind of on the fence about it. But yeah, new people, new ideas, new direction. All for it.
Yeah, I agree. It feels the right time, doesn't it? I think everybody, and probably Anne Budge said it herself. She did a BBC Radio 4 interview where it's always kind of been a matter of timing. She's not getting any younger. She can't. She's 76 years old. She can't keep going with the day of football management in terms of running the club. So it feels like it was the right time. She's probably looking for a situation. You'd want to leave this time last year. You're sitting bottom of the league. If your legacy is that the last act that you did for the club was kind of ratify and sign, seal and deliver Tony Bloom and leave with the club sitting top of the pile with all the sort of good news and good vibes around the club, it feels like it was probably the right time for that decision to be made.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think we've always said that, right? We've made comment around a number of aspects about Budge and our term here at the club. I think you're right, though. It's a new dawn with Tony Bloom coming in, the way in which the club is now set up. Yes, you've got to admit that she's set a fairly solid foundation behind the scenes as an actual business. We've got all that. Yes, there's plenty of questions that could be asked around certain aspects of that side of things, but all in all, we're much more stronger than where we were when she came through the front doors. But this is an ideal opportunity for her to step away, maybe not be in day-to-day running the club. The honorary president sounds like she'll be rolled out at various different events throughout the season. But all in all, the new people that are coming in have experience in various different large businesses. That's what we have to be looked upon nowadays. And with that, we move forward into hopefully bigger and better things.
And listen, you're allowed to have, it's okay to have the opinion of that Anne Budge saved the football club. We wouldn't have been here if it wasn't for her. You are allowed to also say that she's made mistakes. It's fine, that's what happens in football, but we've seemed to have this culture of around that person for the last X amount of years where you weren't allowed to say, actually, should we question what's happened? And there's absolutely no argument that from a footballing perspective, we've never really hit the heights of where we probably should have. Again, there'll be lots of different people that are to blame for that, but as a self-proclaimed football novice, as she so publicly tells everybody, we have made some very poor footballing decisions. However, that doesn't negate that everybody is absolutely thankful for the position that she put us in. The fact that she stepped up, she helped, she was part of the process to safeguarding our future and saving the club. And she's laid a very, very solid foundation for us to kick on from. You're allowed to have both those opinions. Like, it's not, you don't have to be like, oh, you can't say anything bad about Anne Budge because she saved the club. She's made mistakes and she'll admit that she's made mistakes. But she's put things right. She's, by the looks of it, stepping aside to let football-minded people now develop the football side of the business. She's had her vision of how she wanted the business of football to run in the background, the business side of it. We're now sponsorable, marketable. We have revenue streams that we never had before. We have a new stand. We have lots of positive stuff. So, yeah, everybody. I don't think there'll be a Hearts fan out there that wouldn't thank Anne Budge for what she's done. I also don't think there'll be very many people out there that would disagree that now is the time for her to step away. So, again, I think everybody's frustration over the long haul has always been about that legacy piece, where she's going to stay long enough to ruin her own legacy, and we've sailed pretty close to the sun on a few occasions with that. But now it feels like we're on a much more steady footballing land and platform than we've been ever before in our history. And the fact that she played an active part in bringing Tony Bloom and Jamestown to the table is a great way to sign off full circle, save the club, and then put the club on the brink of a new future. So everybody on the podcast, I know we've had our run-ins, I know we've had plenty of things to say over the years around that, but we all would thank Anne Budge for what she'd done. We'd all acknowledge that we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for her. So she gets a thank you from all of us, and wish her well in whatever she gets on with outside being the chairwoman of Hearts. So yeah, I think that's fair enough, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, agree.
Cool. In terms of the Foundation of Hearts people there's a couple of names that I recognise. We probably have a look to, do we know when the voting in that starts? We'll maybe have a session again where we'll interview the candidates and see how they get on.
There was nothing I read in my email that came out about regards when that was. It probably was there, but I just didn't read enough of it at the time. But I can find out and come back to you. Yeah,
I don't get any Foundation of Hearts emails anymore. I don't know what's happened. They obviously fell out with me for some strange reason, but I didn't get them, so I have absolutely no idea.
There we go.
Right. Where are we? What else did you say news-wise? Scotland, Shankland, well deserved for Shankland. To be honest with you, it's not a surprise, and it's something that, as much as we don't care about Scotland or whatever, I think it's a bit of recognition for him. His hard work. He's growing back into the Shankland of the season prior. I think 10, 11 goals now for the season.
Double figures.
Yeah, double figures again, and his goal on Saturday is everything that we know Lawrence Shankland can be. That picking up, we'll talk about the game, but just the break, the football intelligence to know that Dundee will fall. No one will stick with them because the way they play, the way their shape is, and he just picked up that pocket in between the retreating defence and the sitting midfield and absolutely smashes one in with his weaker foot for 25 yards. Just a very Lawrence Shankland finish, but well deserved. And then the banana situation that Craig Gordon still gets called up for Scotland, even though he's not playing, is crazy.
It's a bit of a conundrum for Clark. Like, I give a shit for a minute. Let's just pretend. Who has he got that can actually pick that's actually getting game time?
I know.
Nobody.
There's absolutely nobody. Yeah.
Liam Kelly he's one I watch. He's only getting called up because he's got Rangers on his CV, but he's not getting a game for Rangers, and he should never be in a game for Scotland. He's nowhere near good enough. And Angus Gunn gets a game because his dad played with Scotland. I'm pretty sure he's not a good goalkeeper either. So it will more than likely be Craig Gordon, which again, if Scotland somehow managed to qualify for the World Cup, I thought it was a disgrace that Steve Clarke never took him to the Euros. So it will be very fitting for his last act in football to play on the biggest stage in international football to round off what is a monumental career for an absolute Hearts and Scotland legend. So I don't begrudge Craig Gordon establishing himself as the Scotland number one. To get and go and go play a World Cup would be phenomenal for him. So yeah, as much as I don't really care about Scotland. Did Kazaridis get called up for Greece or that? Do we know?
Don't think so. I've not seen.
That'll be them.
There's been
Next
nothing in the
game,
clubs.
surely.
He must be getting close. He must be getting close.
See, just on that, right? So I agree with you, Cobb, but I don't begrudge Craig Gordon getting any minutes at all, right? You know what? Like, he's in the dying embers of his career, way to go out on a high, blah, 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 all that good stuff. See, when it comes to Shankland, right? Now, I was chatting about this to the lads in the work today, because they're more in tune with Scotland than I am, but the overwhelming opinion from them is that Steve Clarke is a daft, sentimental old fool, and the chances, and that's a direct quote, is that Shankland will probably not even play any minutes for Scotland because he'll be loyal to was it Shea Adams and Lyndon Dykes, with the two names that were mentioned. Yep. So hopefully we've got nothing to worry about.
The Shea Adams thing, I don't begrudge because he's actually scoring goals and playing. But the rest, Lyndon Dykes, Jeff Hurst or George Hurst or whatever the hell he's called, they're not of Shankland's level. And we've said before, actually, when we went to the Euros and Shankland went to the Euros, Shankland was flying high, scored 32 goals in a season and then went away with Scotland for 6 weeks and came back an absolute ghost, a shadow of a player. So I'm hoping that he plays because he's good enough. He'll score goals. That's what Lawrence Shankland does. He's the only natural goal scorer in that squad. He's the only natural finisher in that squad. You look at, I've said it 1,000 times before, and it sounds daft to people that don't go to football, don't watch football, but people that know football will understand what I'm saying. He strikes the ball like a striker. He strikes the ball better than every other person in the team. The game on Saturday's finish, a perfect example of that. You know, he's still 22, 25 yards out. The keepers get absolutely no chance. And the ball never, once it leaves his foot, is going nowhere but in off that post. So I would like to see Shankland get a game. If he's going to go, I'd rather that he went and played, because when he went before and sat on the bench, he came back, looked like he'd had all his confidence completely and utterly sucked out of him, playing under that absolute idiot Clarke. So, but I
think you've also got to ask the question: why is he picking guys like McKenna, Grant Hanley? What's the other boy? I can't remember where he is playing. He's playing in Croatia or something stupid like that. You know, why is he picking them ahead of like Halkett? Even Stuart Finlay, who's played so far this season, probably one of the best seasons he's had in the past 5 or 6. I find it strange some of his choosing, but as I've said before, and I know you echo the same comment, I'd rather none of them went away with the international team. But there you go.
Correct. It's the correct answer, Kev. It is the correct answer, but that's just selfish from us. It'd be nice for the players to get recognised, especially Halkett, for the performance. If Hanley is getting picked and he get ragdolled off fucking Scott Pittman or whatever it was on Saturday playing against Livy, then Craig Halkett should be there. But anyway, that's at least 6 minutes you're talking about Scotland. That is too much. So
far too much.
I apologise.
Time's not here, so
I apologise to everybody that's had to listen to that shit. Right, let's move on. will we talk briefly about St Mirren? Just give our thoughts on getting out of Dodge with a point, or is it points dropped? Is it a point gained? What was your overall feelings and thoughts on the game?
Want to go, Kev?
I was going to say, from my point of view, it was definitely get the hell out of Dodge with a point. I didn't think we looked comfortable at any point of the game. I appreciate that St Mirren as an actual team are just big guys. Some of them without very great deal of footballing ability, but they know perfectly well how to play to their strengths, and that is to get the ball up front quickly to Maldron and whatever the other boy's name is. So there's a number of factors that you have to take into it. We looked leggy, I thought, at times. We looked absolutely done in. Appreciate that we'd played on the Sunday, to St Mirren playing on the Saturday, but I just thought we looked really, really slow, a little bit lethargic. We got out of jail with our third goal getting chopped off. Yeah, I think it was right that ours was also chopped off for offside. It was marginal, but to get a 2-2 draw, show from my point of view a hell of a lot of character to actually come back twice, and not play well. I think there's a phrase around about something about not playing well, picking up points. That's how you win things. Who knows?
Yeah, I think, like I said, it would have been. It sounds mental to say, but the Dundee game was where I would have made my opinion on what I thought of the overall result at St Mirren. If you struggle against Dundee and drop more points, then it's definitely 2 points dropped. Whereas if you go and you put in a performance against Dundee, then it definitely feels like point gained, if you know what I mean. And that's definitely where I'm sitting, Ando. I thought that we were, for long spells, we were below our best. Don't get me wrong, we still had our moments in the game. Benny obviously hits the inside of the post, is very unlucky. He scores that, it's 1-0. It's 1-0 Hearts, and you maybe go on and have a different feel, a different vibe to the game. And again, the longer the game went on, the more likely it was that we would get a winner, rather than us to lose the game. But because we definitely got away with one with their disallowed goal. But I definitely feel that that's, when you look at points and stuff overall with the objective of what we're trying to do over the season, I think that could turn out to be a very valuable point. Keeps the momentum going, keeps us unbeaten, keeps the team ticking over, and then that gives the manager the opportunity to refresh the team on this Saturday, and just gee everybody back up again for the next wee section of games.
Aye. As Jambo Dave 72 has said, Paisley is always a bastard to play in. A draw was fine, in his opinion, and I share that opinion. It's pardon me, it's one of them that we've traditionally always struggled there. And if you look at previous results, well, maybe not previous results, but previous teams, under different managers, we absolutely would have struggled there, and would have been happy coming away with a 1-0 defeat, which is, excuse me, ridiculous. Pardon me, bit trapped 20. I've had too much juice. Pardon me. But I think you're absolutely right. Like, let's be under no illusions. Over the course of the season, we're going to go to away grounds, and as you've said in previous pods, especially against the weird teams, it's their cup final. A big high roller is coming into town. They want to be the one to knock us off the perch, etc., etc. But for me, St Mirren have been really, really good in the last few seasons, and the league positions definitely demonstrated that. And they are one of the tougher teams that we're going to face away from him. By the way, angriest fans ever. Like, if you watch it in Heart,
they always are.
And they didn't ken the rules of football. You hear them screaming for stuff. It's never warranted. But anyway, as a sidebar, I think you're absolutely right. It's a point gained, and we are going to lose games over the course of the season. And to go to a tough venue like that and come away with a point after the run we've been on, I'll take it all day long. I had a bit in your hand off for a draw before the game, so quite happy with it.
Yeah, I think you look at Rangers drop points there. It's going to be a venue that I think people will struggle to get to, which is good. And I think the most important mantra for everybody is, if you can't win, then don't lose. That's the most important part, because look at the slight reaction to stop Wee Man Jambo. Don't mention Critcher, please. I'm in a good mood. I'm on a family holiday. Please.
Wee Man Wanjo can go in the sin bin or whatever it's called for this.
please don't bring up that wet wipe. But I think it'll be turn out to be a very good point. You know, you can't win, don't lose. That's an important mantra to have. And then again, it sets up for the reaction on this Saturday. You know, we were starting to see a wee bit bubbling in the press about bubble being burst and all this type of stuff. So again, it was about Saturday. If we went out and we were lethargic, we've made changes, you don't get a performance, you don't get a result, then people can start to be like, yeah, see, that's the cracks or whatever. But instead, we rotated the team, played some of our reserves, and absolutely battered a team that have beaten Celtic and took points off Rangers, and really set a marker down to be like, you know, there's nothing wrong with us. Look at the strength and depth we have of the team. So, point gain, definitely. Right. Let's move on to Saturday then. Was there any surprise from anybody to see changes? Did you expect changes? Were you surprised at who dropped out, who stayed in? What was your thoughts pre-game Saturday?
I think from my point of view, I think I expected changes. Given, as I said, the first and second half of the game on Wednesday night was definitely slow, slightly lethargic. What I was surprised at was who actually dropped out. I didn't expect Halkett to drop out, because I think him and Finlay have got a really good relationship now. I appreciate that Halkett's on a yellow card, or another yellow card. I think he misses a game. So it's maybe trying to actually plan that out as to where could he potentially be, missed from a game. However, Steinwender came in on Saturday, and I thought looked fairly solid. But a lot of that comes down to Shawolo in goal, vocal. You can hear him shouting, and I think Finlay as a player is also pretty vocal. So he was always making sure that Steinwender was in the right place, etc., etc. So I was surprised. That was probably my biggest surprise in the starting lineup, was to see how Halkett dropped it for Steinwender. But the other ones I probably expected, if I'm being honest.
What about yourself, Andel?
I was a wee bit surprised to see some of the changes, just given like playing the same team for whatever it is, 6 games in a row. You have to understand, obviously, that's probably unsustainable, especially given the amount of games that we played in the space of a week. So was it 3 games in 6 days? So a wee bit surprised, but also not in the same voice. But the one thing I would say is that the people that came in, was more than happy with, to be fair, in the reorganisation of like shunting players around Milne, for example. I think no complaints with it at all. I think the changes that were made, obviously, be underlying reasons for it, and maybe tiredness, slight knocks, as Kev's pointed out about the potential yellow card and ban for Halkett. All that considered, I don't have any problems with it at all. Looks fairly sensible changes to make given the circumstance, and also who you're playing.
Yeah, I thought that it's one of those ones that you make changes, you have to go win. And I thought that it was great to see that we play in the same shape, but Milne, who has been one of the best performers playing right wing, has now moved back to left back, where he looks absolutely comfortable playing in that position. Kizaridis has been getting loads of success and loads of action playing in the left and moved over to the right. And we just had a different dimension up front with Kabore as opposed to Braga. And it's, again, there's no right or wrong way as long as you score goals. And I thought he handled himself well, but I thought Shankland managed Kabore brilliantly through the game, telling him where to be, constantly in his ear, constantly moving him about, showing him where to go, supporting him and stuff. And obviously he gets a brace, rightly so. His second finish is more impressive for me than the first one, because that's a natural finisher. That's so nonchalant. He doesn't even break stride, knows where to be, anticipates the keeper potentially making the save, and then doesn't even break stride, just wee nonchalant side foot volley into the net. And that for me was the most encouraging thing. To score 4 is great, but the message that it sends to everybody else. They're looking at Wednesday, then they're looking at the changes, thinking, right, well, let's see what they're all about. You know, they've changed the winning team or a solid team. They'd be looking for the chinks in the armour to be like, oh, see, that doesn't work, or they're not as good. The fact that Kabore comes in, Braga's top scorer in the league, and getting hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of plaudits. Kabore sat on the bench doing absolutely nothing, comes on, is enthusiastic, impacts the game. He changed the game for the positive on Wednesday. Very unlucky with the winner. Gets 2 goals. He comes on. You know, we're thinking, we all said it pre-game, thinking we're worried about Braga. We're a different team with Braga in it, because it's all energy, it's all impact. Whereas actually on Saturday we had a different dynamic. We're a bit more power, a bit more directness, a bit more aggressive in terms of how we played. Being able to take a solid performer and that McEntee Milne thing on the right hand side has been brilliant for us, and switch it and put Milne on the other side of the park. Casaridis moves to the other side of the park, and we have different things about, like, in swinging corners versus out swinging corners, balls getting cut back in centre. We just got hundreds and hundreds of options, and we were just levels above Dundee. But it was more about the performance, the message that it sends to everybody else. You know, Magnuson getting a goal, although it's scrappy, it doesn't matter. People see who scored it and think, who the hell's Magnuson? Like, never heard of this guy before. Who the hell's Kabore? You know, he's came on they're expecting to see Shankland, Braga, and Casaridis score. So for me, Kev, it showed just how strong the squad is. You know, and even like someone said, they're a big surprise to see Spittle come in from nowhere. Spittle was brilliant on Saturday. Spittle was really, really good at picking up the spaces and keeping us moving forward, which was class to see.
Yeah, in regards to Kabore, probably the only thing to be, scathing is not the right word, but just to be, is that he wanted to take one touch too many, I thought, at times. He could have quite easily had 4 or 5 on Saturday. A couple of times in the second half, he wanted to beat the boy twice rather than just beat him once and get his shot off. So, yeah, I think there's a lot of, merits to what you've just said there. Spittle, I thought, as he came into the game, you could see a couple of times in the first 10, 15 minutes, he didn't have that sort of match sharpness as such. But overall, the pass that he makes for the first goal is the kind of pass that we've been asking for him to make week in, week out. As you rightly say, he comes inside, takes that ball in the space, turns, plays the ball between the two of them. Their right back was posted missing for it. And yeah, Shankland hits it with his bad foot, bottom corner. Some of the boys round about me thought they'd taken a deflection, but it was just like a straight arrow at that bottom corner.
It's a true strike, like.
Yeah. So, yeah, all good.
But yeah, the other thing too that you don't see is when Kabore celebrates both his goals, Shankland, after they're doing all this stupid Spider-Mans and all this pish that they all seem to want to do, Shankland literally was lecturing him all the way back to kick off about stuff that had happened 2 or 3 minutes before that exact thing, taking too many touches, wanting too many touches, beat a man, then try to beat him again. He'd be like, just focus on. And he did the same with Braga. He's done the same with Casaridis as well. Once you beat your man, you don't get time. Get a shot away or get your pass away. There's no need to then try and cut back inside again or do them twice. And having someone like that with these boys is going to be huge, because Kabore looks like he's going to be. I'll be interested to see what happens at Dundee United, because it'll be very harsh for Kabore to drop out having scored 2, but it's very harsh for Braga to be sitting on the bench. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out, how that develops over.
Just still play strikers, stuff it.
I just play everybody up front, Kev.
Aye.
I know. It'll be class.
The Kevin Keegan school of football just scored
Good
more than
problem
Nathan.
to have, though. I mean, like,
Very good
100%.
problem.
look at this. We're sitting here worrying about who we're going to play up top because they might score too many goals and the other one might get pissed off. Like, what? We've not had this scenario for fucking years.
Have we ever?
I liked from last year. Exactly. Such a good dilemma to have. This time last year, that opening 30 minutes was a bit stuffy, right? It wasn't free flowing. We weren't at our absolute best because Dundee came, sat in a low block. I think the manager spoke brilliantly about the fact that if Dundee could have shook your hand for a 0-0 and got back in the team bus, they would have. That's what they came for. And it was good to see for us to test ourselves on, right, we've played against Celtic where we only had something like 30% possession and we've still managed to play our game. We were aggressive, we had tempo, we were all over them and we've won comfortably. We've then played St Mirren where it's the opposite. We know it's going to be a battle. So being aggressive, being angry is not going to be enough. We're going to have to be physical. We're going to have to get in their faces and we're going to have to be able to take it because that's how they play. To then come up against Dundee where we know it's going to be 4-5-1. They're going to look to counter, kick the ball long to Simon Murray and hope that they can get out of there with a point would be great or a goal in a set play. So it was nice to see us being able to deal with different setups, different ways of playing and still score 4 goals, keep a clean sheet. We could have looked and scored more than 4. And again, it was that, I think you see Shankland's reaction to the Wheatfield when he scores the opener. He's absolutely screaming at them about the fact that, and again, going to why it's so impressive to have a manager that knows Scottish football, knows the last home game was here. It was high, top atmosphere, everybody buzzing. Away games take care of themselves. It's 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 of the hardcore that will sing, dance, sit all game long. Your Saturday 3 o'clock kickoff against Dundee is a bit like you said you had a spare, couldn't get away to somebody, you've had to put it on a ticket exchange. He knew that we're going to need a crowd to be with us. These are going to be those games where we're going to have to, as in the players are going to have to dictate how this crowd and stands react. And then as soon as we open the scoring, it was one-way traffic. It could have been any score that we wanted. And I think that Kev, for me, is the most impressive, is just our ability to play against all different types of teams and different setups.
Yeah, and a lot of that comes back to what we've said as well about squad depth. The fact is there will be potentially games later on in the season where actually we want to have 2 banks of 4 rather than the sort of 3 up front that we've been playing. We have now a squad that is capable of doing that. We have got a squad that where you want or you need to make changes like we did on Saturday, you are not actually, de-strengthening the actual squad. The squad is still strong, no matter who it is that you bring in. I'd be interested to see even Magnusson playing, because let's be honest, Devlin at some point is probably going to have to take a bit of a break. He's been perfect
for a suspension.
Well, yeah, exactly. There's all these kind of aspects to come into it as well. So it'd be keen to see what
international duty. Do you not get a call up?
Yeah, I've not seen their lineup either. I think we were one of the first teams to actually announce our international squad. So you might find over the next couple of days anyway, before we know whether or not other players are going away. The expectation is Kabore will be away to play with Burkina Faso, but anybody else I'm not entirely sure.
Because that was the thing that I think Magnusson will be the next one to drop in for a start, because he's looked very impressive in all the games that he's came on. And I know from people in and around Hearts and talking to folk that have been at bounce games or are close to the coaching staff or whatever, like Derek McInnes absolutely rates Magnusson massively, and you can see that he's the trusted one. Comes on almost every single game. They trust him to go out there and be able to handle the physicality playing in Scottish football and stuff. So I wouldn't be surprised if Cammy is away with Australia to maybe see that dynamic in the middle of the park change with Magnusson maybe coming on for or starting for Dundee United.
Magnusson reminds me so much of Palazuelos, just but bit broader in regards to his build. He looks very strong on the ball. Doesn't look like he'll get pushed off the ball as easily.
Same here.
I've been quite impressed with him so far.
Yep, same. And to be honest with you, I've been impressed with absolutely everybody that's came on. I think I know Borkovic is fit now, but it would be insanely harsh for McEntee to drop out. I don't think that's something that we'll see change anytime soon. You might maybe see him, if you're a couple of goals up at home, you maybe see him come on. You maybe see him in there. I think we've seen Carjota again on Saturday, didn't we? Towards the end. Like I said, whoever it was that was in the comments a wee minute ago absolutely got it right. It's a brilliant dilemma I have.
One thing to think about, actually, if Kabore is getting a call up for Burkina Faso, the African Cup of Nations runs from mid-December till mid-January, whenever it is.
Yeah.
So if he gets called up for that, we'll be without him over the Christmas and New Year period.
Burkina Faso qualifying,
Yeah, I just checked on Google now, and it says they're in Group E of the group stage. So yeah, consider him gone, I suppose, because you can't stop a international player going, can you?
No,
unless you've got a proper reason. But
they wouldn't anyway. I think it's another. It just adds pounds onto his value if he can go over and play in an international competition. He looks really good though, Kabore. I like the fact that he's straight over to the manager to celebrate as well. Shows the sort of that team togetherness type thing. The fact that he easily could be an assault, could be sitting on the bench in a half because he's not getting a game. But this is what squad depth is all about. This is why you need to have settled starting 11 and a settled formation, so that everybody knows when I get a chance, I have to take it, because that's the only way I'm going to work my way into the team. When things start becoming convoluted, week in, week out, the formation changes, the starting 11 changes for no reason, substitutions are different every single week. It just demotivates a team massively, because you think, what am I pushing for here? Because one week I could come on and play centre mid, next week I'm coming on and playing left back, next week I'm not even making a squad. So it's great to see everybody come in absolute contributing as well, which is a brilliant dilemma to have. Anything else, Kev, game on Saturday that caught your eye?
Nothing I from that point of view. One thing I do want to call out though is the social media team at Tynecastle, who have absolutely bammed up Simon Murray today, which is absolutely brilliant. For anybody who's not seen it, I highly recommend going to the social media pages of Heart of Midlothian, whether that be TikTok, Instagram, whatever it is, but because it's one of the funniest little video clips I've seen for a long time. And if you guys have not seen it, I will send it on to you.
Remember that I haven't had social media since Bebo.
Yeah, you're off it. I'll record it and send it to you, mate. Just for shits and giggles.
Idea what you're talking about. I absolutely no idea what's going on.
He lost as Kevin has just said there, he lost his rag. Excuse me. He lost his rag on Saturday when he got taken off. Got a very nice rendition as he left the pitch from the home fans, and he took a bottle of water and literally chucked it over the back of the away dugout. So the club's social media team have taken that and used it pretty well.
Good. I hope it hurt.
Did Stephen Presley get a nice warm reception on Saturday?
Did he shite? He didn't. To be honest with you, being in the Section G, as you know we are, there was nothing we could, there was no booing or anything like that. But I wouldn't be surprised if some of the season ticket holders and ticket holders across in the main stand would have given him a little bit of abuse, I would hope.
Only one other thing, and again, it's difficult because watching it on Hearts TV, but see, just that I didn't want to say it was effortless, but it felt quite pedestrian from Hearts at points, and at no point, like normally if you see a team play like that with no urgency, no urgency is not the right word, but you know what I mean, you could just tell that if we needed to knock it up a gear or two or three, then we would have absolutely blown them away. It just seemed, dare I say, easy on Saturday. That's what came across in the footage anyway. And I get when you're watching it on the footage, you didn't see the whole park, you didn't get to see the industry, everybody involved, but it just did seem really, really easy on Saturday.
Yeah, never got to second gear.
Yeah, I mean, we've said it loads and loads. Somebody's going to get battered. 4-0 is not a battering. The potential that this team has. We are just well coached. Everybody knows their position. Everybody knows what they're doing, what they're asked to do. Everybody that comes on knows what they have to deliver. I didn't want to keep saying it. I'm going to say it every single podcast. It's the direct benefit of having an experienced manager that knows what he's doing, knows how to get the best out of players. And what we're seeing different from his time as Aberdeen manager to now is he has the squad depth and the quality of player. Now, the Aberdeen teams were brilliant. They had some great individual players that maybe potentially carried the team, but literally I think from keeper to striker, I think every single player in our team is of a better standard that was in those Aberdeen teams, and I think you're starting to see that now. Not getting out of second gear is a great quality to have. To score 4, not be at your fluid best, and again Dundee and their setup has a lot to do with that. One of the ways in which we play is that we want teams to engage us. We want them to push out so that we can exploit the space in between. And you look at Kabore's second goal, when you freeze it and see where they are, they've got a solid 5 and a solid 4 within 10 yards of each other. So we're playing in that 10-yard corridor in between those spaces. It makes it really difficult to get the ball out wide, for example, get balls into the box, which is why 2 of our goals have come from strikes from outside of the box, and the other 2 have come from set plays, because you can't get down to the side, you can't get to the byline, you can't get round the outside of them when they're playing a low block and they get 5 and 4. So yeah, it might feel like we've never got out of second gear, but Dundee they get battered, but you have to respect what they did. They stopped us being able to do that because they only came for a draw. So that was what was really pleasing about it, was the fact that we found a different way to win. And you think, right, stop Kizaridis, and then Milne does the work that Kizzy would normally do. Stop them. Spittle does the work that normally they would do. Right, Braga's not playing. We've got respite. Kabore scores 2. Like, we've said this on repeat 100 times before. Making the opposition think about us rather than us overanalyzing the opposition is a huge, huge positive in our setup right now. We went to Ibrox and didn't give a shit about how Rangers were going to set up. We've played Celtic and haven't given a shit about how Celtic were going to set up. We've played Hibs and not give a shit about how they were going to set up. And we've won those games. We've won all the big important matches. Every test that's been thrown our way, we've passed. And I would even class Wednesday as a pass. A draw in a difficult venue is still a good point. It's a good point on the board, because neither Rangers nor Celtic, I watched the game yesterday, dog shit, horrendous. Right, they're 2 dog shit teams. They're not going to click into a form where they're going to go 10, 15, 16 games winning every single one. They will drop points. They 100% will drop points. So if you can't win, don't lose. So yeah, I think it's very positive.
One of the big things I noticed on Saturday, there was the amount of times that McInnes was pulling players over to tell them, take this, do this, do that. He done it a couple of times with Devlin. He done it a couple of times in the second half with Milne, because of course Milne was going up that left-hand side. He would stop him when he was taking throw-ins and actually have a word with him. Then you've seen later on in the actual play that Milne was then passing that message on to whether it be Benny, whether it be Kizzy, whoever it may have been. There was a lot more, and it's always been something I've really hated about past managers, is the fact that when things are going their way, they go and sit down. And then when things aren't going their way, and then when things aren't actually working, they're also sitting down. You know, I just don't get that sort of, you know, I don't get that understanding. If you're, as a manager, and that's the big thing about McInnes, is the fact that when he's winning, he wants to continue. He's there, he's in the players' ears, he's telling them things that he's identifying for the sidelines that, you know, we've all played football. You know perfectly well that you sometimes don't see when you're on the pitch yourself. It takes us another set of eyes to see that. And that's exactly what he was doing on Saturday.
Yeah, and the other thing as well, like, I think if he was to look back at his time in Aberdeen, he probably would admit himself that he was maybe too cautious at times. Set up, team selections, the way he played. I think now he wants to remedy that, to be like, no, like we've got to strike when the iron's hot here. He wants more. 4-0's not enough. You see that with him. You know, he wants more. He wants go create more, get more chances, create more chances, get more entries into the box, get more balls into the box, win more set plays. Like, he demands that, yeah, we're 4-0 up and we've made changes. That's not enough. Go impact the game. I want you to keep impacting the game. And he's massive on, like, the thing that Naismith and Critch used to say all the time about safe passes and keeping the ball safe and all that stuff. He hates all that stuff. You can see him turn away in disgust when there's an option to get it into Shankland's feet, Kabore's feet, to get it into a channel, and we'll go to Findlay or we'll go to Halkett or Kingsley or whoever. You see him he turns away in disgust that we've no took the forward thinking pass, and I think that's great. That's such a mindset change for all these players, and we are reaping the rewards of it massively. Right, next up we get Dundee United Sunday, isn't it?
Sunday 3:00.
Oh, shit. I'd made plans thinking it was Saturday. That'd have been a blow. Fucking turn up on Saturday afternoon, 3:00. Shit. Well played, lads.
It's been moved because of the egg chasing.
So God.
The All Blacks on Saturday, so they've moved the game till 3:00 after the Remembrance service on Saturday and Sunday morning.
So the Remembrance service is this Sunday?
Yes, correct.
Cool. Well, let's make sure that everybody that listens to the podcast try and encourage as many people to go to this as we possibly can. The numbers dwindle year on year. I really hope that the club rectify the situation this year and the players attend. I know last year they didn't, which was the choice of the coach. I believe it was the manager that decided that they shouldn't attend, which I don't think is a good look. I hope that the players are there, and I hope as many Hearts fans as possible can get there, because it's a big thing. The more people that go, the more pressure we can put to have things like the roads closed, so you can actually stand and not have cars whizzing past, and actually show some proper respect for the people that deserve it the most. So yeah, if you can go and are able to, I encourage all Hearts fans to attend the Remembrance service on Sunday.
Kev, you going?
I'll be there. I'll be there as normal. This will be.
Yeah, shout. I'll come up early.
No worries, mate. I'll be there as my normal time. But what they have said today is that they haven't said about the actual first team players being there, Corbett. But what they have said is that the service will be attended by members of the first team, coaching staff, women's team, blah, blah, blah. But what I really liked about was that they've said that Derek McInnes will perform a reading that honours the bravest team and the sacrifices that they made. Now, in the past, that has always been left to club captain or the captain of the team. I know that Craig Gordon's done it a number of times. I think Shank's done it 2 years ago when he'd just been made captain. So to actually see the manager doing it, that's the first time I can think. I don't remember Nielsen doing it. I don't remember the Wet Wipe doing it. I don't remember even Flippin' Levine doing it in either of his sessions. So to actually see McInnes standing up there, he must have a bit of respect as well, which is, I think, fantastic from my point of view. I just think it's absolutely brilliant that he, as the manager of the football club, is going to do that.
Yeah, I think that everybody that represents Heart of Midlothian Football Club, should represent and be there. That's the whole point of it. It's interwoven into our proud history. We all love it. We all know the story. We understand why we're there. We understand why the countless people, that actually maintain the memorial itself make sure that the memorial service happens, that it's still thought about, it's still prevalent today as it was 100 years ago, and hopefully it's still a tradition in 100 years' time. So to have representation, whether it be all the team or just a handful, club captain, vice captain, and manager, whatever it is the right thing to do. So I'm happy that the club, and at least the manager has the foresight to understand the situation and carry in favour with fans. Little gestures like that make a huge difference. Buy into the story and the narrative of that we're all in it together. We all understand it. So yeah, that's class. That's class to see. Football wise, are we expecting wholesale changes again? What's your thoughts and feelings?
I reckon he'll go with. I put it this way: the people that dropped out on the weekend, I don't think they'll automatically get their place back. I think you might see potentially an unchanged team again this Sunday, and I wouldn't be adverse to that at all. Just given everything excuse me, that we've discussed already so far. Dundee United, bottom 6 side, really, aren't they? 7th just now. Will be a little bit more of a sterner test than Dundee, but aye. I don't imagine we'll see wholesale changes or back to the team of 2 weeks ago.
The league is so congested, isn't it? It's crazy. I feel like second down, it's mad. I think the team that's like bottom of the league are only a few points off being third.
Right. 5 points separates Hibs in third down to Kilmarnock in 10th. So a win for anybody basically just throws that whole section from 3rd to 10th in chaos. Obviously Dundee and Livingston just outside that by a couple of points, and then obviously there's clear daylight between Hibs and Celtic, and then daylight between Celtic and us. So it is massively congested in that middle tier.
So who do Celtic have this weekend?
Oh, good question. I'll tell you now.
I want to say Kilmarnock at home, I think.
Typical. They are. You're right here. Kilmarnock.
Kelly at home. What is it? Is it Rangers Aberdeen or is it?
Because the games are on Sunday, so for us, of course. So you've got Celtic at home to Kilmarnock, Rangers are away to Dundee, Hibs I think play on Saturday, if I remember rightly. I'll look at them earlier on. Yeah, it's St Mirren. Now, given the way in which St Mirren played against us on Wednesday, then they played Motherwell on Saturday and played them off the park, that'll be a tough game for Hibs. I mean, a lot of games are tough for them now, but
it's those things where you're just looking at, like, we get 3 points on the board that we just keep moving further and further away from the people that could that we enjoy finishing above, your Aberdeens, your Hibs. So then another important weekend of putting points at the board, on the board. And it's important that we win these games as well, because obviously Celtic beat Falkirk at home. They're getting swept up in the Martin O'Neill hysteria of the fact that they couldn't beat a 10-man Rangers team that they've laughed at for the last 4 months. They've been absolute dog shit. They were hanging on for dear life against 10 men. Managed to get it to extra time where they could regroup, and then they're all giddy that they beat Falkirk at home. So it's important that we keep winning.
Interesting question for you then. If Kilmarnock have came to approach us in regards to a keeper, that keeper, whoever it may be, would go into their team to play Celtic on Sunday. That particular individual, whoever it may be, could make himself an absolute legend by having a shout out at Celtic Park.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Hey, can you imagine
it? Probably be Xander Clark, isn't it?
It has to be. Because I think Fulton's still injured.
Gordon. Unless Gordon wants some game time before he goes away with Scotland, potentially.
There is that. I don't know what the deal is. I don't know if it's like a month's loan or if it's just the one game. I don't know how it actually works. Yeah, given the fact that a month, well, if it's the month in November, he's only going to play 2 games, this Sunday and then potentially one after the international break.
Yeah. Right. Let's do predictions then. Ando, what's your prediction for Dundee United at home? Kev, what's your prediction?
My prediction for this weekend, given the magnitude of Sunday morning, and given the fact that McInnes and a number of the players will be probably at the service, I think a lot of that will be taken into the actual dressing room. I'm going 3-0.
Okay, a big one. Ando, are you there, or are you still at the toilet? Professional podcast. He's in the box. Right.
His missus is away though, remember, so...
yeah, he could be doing something.
He might be away from me.
Aye. He was thinking about Kabore. He's away. Right, I'll stick with tradition and say it'll be a Desmond. It's served me well. But I think, again, the good thing about this side is that these games before like international breaks and coming off international breaks, we've managed to perform. So I think they'll take it as a good opportunity to be like to round off the way we just rounded off the first 11 games, kickstart the next 11 games. I think that I'll be surprised if we're sluggish on Sunday, given that we'll now have a full week, 8 days to rest and recuperate and get back on it. Andrew, what's your score prediction for Sunday?
Sorry, lads, I had to very quickly take an urgent phone call there. So if you came to me before, apologies, I missed it. But my score.
That's fine.
All right, so my score prediction will be. I think it won't be as easy as we've seen on the weekend, but it will still be Hearts 3, Dundee United 0.
Magic. Right, anything YouTube comment wise that we want to discuss before we kick it off? I've got a TGI Fridays for my dinner in a wee minute.
Dirty bastard.
Chicken fingers,
flash.
honey and mustard.
There you go. Whoa, honey and mustard. That's
honey
good
mustard.
Flavor. You're gonna have that.
No.
Unbelievable.
Jack Daniel's dipping sauce, mate. That's what you want.
Aye, that's for start. We get that with the wee starters, wee chicken strips and Jack Daniel's for the starter, and then a wee chicken fingers. You can I'm a classy man. I have the palate of a seasoned chef.
Aye, you're gonna get that with a side of spaghetti hoops or whatever they call them in America.
2 different types of chicken is where I'm going. That's where your old dad's going. So that's where we're at.
The only other comments on YouTube, I've just flashed them up real quick. There's just people reacting to score predictions. But yeah, nothing else other than that.
Right, boys. I'm back next Wednesday, so potentially we'll let you know whether we can podcast from Orlando next, maybe Sunday night or something, depending on where I'm at and what I'm up to. All right.
Cool. No worries. Enjoy the rest
of the holiday.
Right. See you all soon.
Cheerio.
Joe.
Cordials.